Hello and welcome to Winging It with Ash. I am Ash, welcome to my channel and welcome to beautiful Barcelona. I thought I would make this video sharing with you my top tips of how to travel in the summertime. I have traveled to over 70 countries in winter, spring, summer, and fall. And I believe that there are some tips that are different for each of the seasons. And then this video, I wanted to share with you the top things I would do if I was traveling in the summer. To start this video off, I want to talk about something so exciting. I am considering making a trip here in Barcelona for some of you who would be interested in doing a group trip. I'd like to consider a trip for solo travelers, but I'd also like to consider a regular trip for anyone who wants to come, whether you're a couple, a family, or even a solo traveler. Whoever you are, if you want to come see my city of Barcelona, then let me know. Down below I have a form for you to fill out, just saying whether or not you'd be interested. It's not tying you into anything, it's just saying that you're interested. Thank you so much for your guys' support. This is something I've considered for a long time and I haven't felt comfortable, but now I am ready. This is my city, this is my home, and I want to show you guys around. I want to share it with all of you in person, not just over a video. So let me know. Okay, let's get into my tips for traveling in the summer. Okay, so you're planning on taking a trip in the summer and you want to know some tips to help you plan that trip. I'm going to help you out. I have traveled to over 70 countries and I've traveled during the summertime. And I also live in Barcelona, which is one of the most traveled to cities in all of Europe. A lot of tourists come here, and so I have gleaned so many little tips and tricks over the years. One of the first things I want to talk about is your destination, where you want to go. Something important that you need to decide on is the type of travel you want to do. Do you want to go from small town to small town? Are you okay with being with a ton of tourists in cities? Or do you want to do something like a cruise where you're shuffled from place to place? These are all very different types of travel and you can intermix them, but when planning on traveling in the summer, all prices go up. Your budget will change if you are traveling in the summer versus traveling in the winter or the fall, quite substantially. Like right now when I look at flights, the flights in the summer are so much more expensive than they were in the winter and fall. But if the summer is the only time you can get off, or you always take a trip in the summer, just like most other people, then you just need to consider the type of travel you want and what your budget is. Another thing I would say when considering your destination is the weather in the destination. I live in beautiful Barcelona, but Barcelona in August is extremely hot. And if you're not used to that, then it can be miserable. Your time in August here is going to be extremely humid. And if that is not something that you're used to from where you're at, it's a little difficult and it takes away from the experience if you're uncomfortable. For me, when I first came here, I was not used to the humidity and it was miserable. I didn't have AC, something that when I found my housing, I was not expecting it to be as hot. I felt like I was cooking every day, like my skin was cooking. But if you don't like that kind of thing and you want a cooler atmosphere, then there are a lot of places that are great options for you to go. But just know your limits, know what is best for you. If you need to consider a place that's cooler in the summertime, then there are options for that. Just be sure to, look at those options and don't push yourself to do something that you know you'll be uncomfortable doing, because it'll take away from the experience and you won't come away enjoying your time as much. Now I know that there are many different types of travelers. Those of you who plan months, years ahead of time before you go on a trip, or those of you who barely plan at all and don't really make a plan, you show up somewhere and then you book something. I would consider myself probably an in-between of both of those options, but I would, if you were traveling in the summer, definitely consider planning ahead of time. Prices skyrocket in the summertime. I've been shocked at the prices of flights and the prices of hotels here in the summertime compared to any other time in the year. Here in Barcelona specifically, the prices of things are so much more expensive. So your better option is to book things ahead of time. When you are considered doing things as a tourist, like going to museums or enjoying churches or just anything that requires you to have a ticket, museums, if there's an option to book it ahead of time, I'd highly recommend doing it. The reason being is these places have lines. you'll end up standing in a lot of lines and lose some of the time that you have to look around the city. So I would suggest looking up online if the things you want to do have ticket options that you can purchase online. A lot of them you can purchase a ticket for a specific time that you want to go, and then you can plan on being there. It's kind of like Disneyland and the Fast Pass. Instead of standing in the line forever among all the other people who didn't think ahead of time, you can just go straight past them like you kind of are royalty and get directly into the place, and then have more time to go have dinner or drinks or enjoy something afterwards versus just wasting time in a line. It's not the best use of your time if you're going to be in a place for a short period of time. Something I didn't consider when coming here to Barcelona was making reservations at restaurants. Here in Europe, and specifically in Barcelona, making reservations is so incredibly important. So many of the great restaurants here in this city, they book out and you can't get in. They have two seatings, normally one around 8 and one around 10. And people just sit and eat and spend time and enjoy, and that's okay, but then the tables don't get free for other people to sit down like they would in the US. It's pretty common that Spanish people will take at least 2, 3, 4 hours to enjoy a meal. So if you were planning on going to a specific restaurant that you want to enjoy and experience, then you need to make reservations ahead of time. Otherwise, if you just show up, the likelihood of them being able to fit you in, specifically in the summertime, is pretty low. I did not know this, and I made this mistake so many times in this city. So I would say not only for Barcelona, but other European cities, if you are planning on, or if there's a Michelin star restaurant you want to go to, or obviously you'll need a restaurant reservation for that, but if there are any specific reservations that you need to make because you are dead set on having this meal or going to this restaurant, then make a reservation. It's so important. Otherwise, you might leave without being able to experience the experience you want. Okay, some of you might not like this one, but it's patience. You need to bring patience. Put it in your bag, put it in your pocket. You're gonna need it all the time. In summertime, there are so many things that you need patience for, whether it's at the airport and you're trying to check in, whether they lose your luggage, or if you're waiting in line because you forgot to buy your tickets. Patience is needed wherever you go. If you're going to a country that they speak another language, it's difficult, and you need to have patience when you're trying to get something across. There's just so many times just in normal everyday life, but specifically when you're traveling, some things are harder than normal or new experiences. So it's good to have patience. There are so many times I can think of, like in metros in the summertime, they can get extremely hot, or just walking through the streets. Sometimes here in Barcelona, the streets are so narrow and so beautiful, but also when there are a lot of people and it's hot, it is insane. And so patience is definitely a key, definitely something that you need to have when traveling in the summertime, because yeah, you just can't avoid it. Like, patience is the best way to get past difficult things while you're traveling. So have patience with those that you are traveling with, the people that you love, because sometimes it's very easy for them to become your enemy, even though they are not. I've definitely had this experience before. So be patient, have grace for those you are traveling with and those that you meet along the way. In the summer, there are going to be a lot more scams in the areas that you travel to, depending on where you are. But usually here in Europe, a lot more scammers are out and about because there are a lot more people and they can get away with things. I have had my phone stolen here in Barcelona. I have had my phone, like someone caught someone trying to steal my phone in Paris. I have fallen victim to many scams throughout cities here in Europe. And so I would just say, look up the cities you're going to and be aware of the common scams that are there so that you know how to prevent them from happening. When it comes to luggage in the summertime, you'd think your bag would weigh less. You'd think that you'd have like smaller clothes because, you know, you have swimsuits and you have shorts and they take up less room than jeans. But it's not really the case. You can definitely fill up a suitcase really quickly, really fast. So consider the place that you're going to in the summer. If you're going somewhere that's a little farther out and you're going to have to drag your bags from place to place, consider that, because the summertime can be hot. Being in the sun and dragging your bags for miles is not fun. My rule of thumb is always to pack what I can carry and not anymore. And then always try to leave a little space for yourself so that you can bring something back with you, some kind of souvenir. For me, many years I carried a carry-on suitcase. I lived out of it while traveling from place to place to place, and I really didn't have any space for souvenirs. But what I did do is buy postcards from every single place that I went, and that was a really great way of collecting something and not needing a lot of space. Another thing that I've just started are magnets, buying magnets in the places that I go, and I really enjoy having something small from my trip that I can remember. I know a lot of people do that, but it doesn't take a lot of space in my bag either. I was literally out 2 days ago in a very touristic area, and a guy said to his girlfriend, "I don't know how you plan on carrying this all back." I'm pretty sure they were American. She like looked at him, like gave him a death stare. But like, it's definitely a concern. If you don't come with any room in your bag, how do you think that you're gonna carry anything back with you? You're gonna have the same clothes with you going back to where you came from, so it's not gonna make any extra space for you. So when you leave, make sure you just have space for anything extra that you wanna bring back with you. Really great tip for the summertime when it is really hot and maybe you're on a budget is to carry and bring with you a reusable water bottle. This is gonna save you so many times when you're thirsty, you're out on a tour or something, because in many European cities and many other places, you can go in a cafe and ask for water, or you can use one of the public water fountains and fill it with water. When I was in Zurich, there were water fountains all around the city, and I didn't have to spend €5 francs on a water bottle. All I had to do was fill up my water bottle from the fountain. Here in Barcelona, we also have fountains around the city where you can fill your water bottle as well. So it saves you from really being really thirsty all the time and also spending a lot of money on water. In the US, tap water is very easy and convenient to get, but in Europe, a lot of people, they purchase bottles of water. I didn't even really know it was a thing until I worked in a hotel in Hollywood, and I had a lot of European guests, and they would always buy water, and I always wondered why, because our water was just fine. They could have just had free tap water, but they decided to buy bottles of water. Now I understand, being in Europe, that this is extremely common. So I carry a water bottle wherever I go. I'm able to fill it up and drink my water whenever I want, so that I'm not worried about finding a place to buy water and, you know, spending extra money that I don't need to. It's a free drink. I don't have to worry about it. Okay, something that I have with me always while traveling in the summer is sunscreen. I cannot tell you how many times I've been on a tour and a tour guide's told me about something that is out in the sun, or a park that is beautiful, and they say you should just sit out in the sun or sit at this cafe, and I don't have sunscreen with me, and I know if I sit any longer in the sun, my skin's gonna turn bright red and I'm gonna be miserable for the rest of the trip. So sunscreen should be in your bag at all times. The sun, no matter where you're at in the summer, can burn you, and then for me, like, my skin turns bright red and I am hot at night, I can't sleep, I get a fever. It's not really nice. So I would highly recommend considering to, I'm not telling you to do it, but definitely consider to bring sunscreen when you are traveling in the summer. Traveling in the summer is such a fun time to see countries and cities and places in a different light. Throughout the year, there are so many different activities, but in the summer, there are tons of festivals, fun things to do, fun, I don't know, like parties, fiestas. Here in Barcelona, we have things almost every weekend going on. It is so much fun to be a part of what the local people are doing and to engage in that as a tourist or while I'm on vacation. I always look up whatever activities or cultural things are happening just so that I could possibly be a part of it and come away. Some of those are, like, most of the time, those are my favorite experiences when I experience things with locals. So my last tip is definitely look up the local things that are happening within the city while you are experiencing and exploring, or I don't know, traveling to that place. I know that many places, they celebrate midsummer, but then here in Barcelona, there are many other celebrations throughout the summertime, and or just fun things to do, like food truck events or markets. So definitely look those up. Those are things that don't normally happen throughout the year, but are specific to the summer. And that's it. Those are my summer tips for you when you're planning your travels. I am so excited for many of you to travel this summer. I want to hear all about the trips that you have planned. So down in the comments down below, if you could share with me what your summer plans are, that would be amazing. Also, do not forget that I am planning, or I am considering planning a trip here in Barcelona this fall, September or October, and I'm trying to gauge whether you guys are interested. So I have a link down below for you to fill out a form to tell me whether or not that's something you'd be interested in. I think it would be so fun. I just don't know if you guys would be interested. So, all right, I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope you have a wonderful week. I'll see you later in the next video. My parents are coming this week, which I'm so excited about. It's gonna be awesome.